Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for March 14th, 2016. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss, with analysis for the upcoming week. Let's take a look here at the ES and a daily time frame. You can see that we've had a solid short squeeze ever since we failed to hold below the 1800s here. Price rallied back to our midpoint of our key range, which is 1941s. That's the August key range, and then pushed through that level into 2000. All the while holding the weekly pivot range as support. So basically what we've seen is a higher value pivot range week after week, and every pullback into that pivot range has been defended. This has been a pattern we've seen overall over the last several weeks, which implies continued overall strength. We have another higher value relationship here. Obviously, we're coming into levels above 2000 for the first time in a while. We have a primary bull target for the month at 2025. We have a secondary up at 2062 along with the HVN and the top of the key range at 2077.5. So we have upside key levels to shoot for the rest of the week here. However, we have to see if price can continue to hold above 2000. Any failure to hold above that level and making it resistance could open up a return back to 1941 and perhaps back into the HVN below at 1912.5. So right now, the early key level to watch is going to be 2000 to begin the week. Closing above or below that level will give us early indications for how the thing could progress the rest of the week. If we take a look at the intraday time frame, for the ES here, you can see the previous session's close, which is also the previous week's close here. 2010.75 has gone offered on every test so far this morning. So right now, the previous close is offered. If price is going to be rejected off the previous close, the implication would be for a push back toward the previous session's low price, which is going to be 1995s. If we push into 1995s, there's an LVN here. That could be an area where bulls want to come in and defend for a shot at seeing new highs. Failure to hold above that level opens up a return to 5-day value, 1971.75. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Here's crude in a daily time frame. This one has continued to squeeze as well, very similar to the ES, especially after pushing through the midpoint of the key range at 34.63. When we talked about the rejection off the bottom of the key range, the implication was for a move back to the center with a shot at seeing a continuation across the range into the top of the key range at 40.50. And prices lingered for several days and eventually took a big short squeeze through those highs and has continued higher ever since. Pullbacks have been defended so far, so we have to see how this responds on a retest of 37s from above that area or as low as 36s. One of those zones here could be an area where bulls want to target for a shot squeezing into the 40.50 key level. You also see, as of right now, the primary bull target for the week is 40.67. Expect that to come down just a little bit here as new lows are reached throughout the week, but eventually that could be a very solid area to target on the upside once we find our low for the week. But again, any failure to hold 36s could rotate this thing back down toward composite VPOC at 33.44. So we have to see how deep this pullback first occurs. So right now on a weekly basis here, these weekly pivots are showing that prices is kind of pushing right below the bottom of the weekly pivot range. So this is going to be an early zone right here to see how price responds to begin the week. So we take a look at the intraday time frame. You can see that it's been a steady sell-off since the overnight began. Trading the previous week's close offered, previous open offered a downside continuation through 5-day VPOC 37.84. Anytime you do that, the expectation would be for a continuation into the bottom of 5-day value. That's 37 evens right now where we have the key level. So we could be looking at further downside price discovery short term this morning until we reach 37s, at which point we could see this thing rotate back into value at 37.80. So we'll keep an eye on this one as we head into the early trading this week. All right, taking a look now at gold futures. Gold has continued to push higher, steadily higher, and is starting to see rejections on highs. So basically, we've seen every pullback here has been a buying opportunity, but recently price has not been able to see any acceptance beyond the 1272 key level, especially beyond 1280s. Just big time rejection. Every time we're getting above this area, we're seeing rejections time and time again. Prices having to auction lower to entice buyers to come off the sidelines. Buyers have been defending off of the trigger point of the pivot-based EMAs, and that's been leading to strength. But right now what we're seeing is just a failure to maintain acceptance above 1272s, and we're also seeing a failed attempt above 1263.90, which is the top of the recent key range here. So basically, as I've been mentioning, if there's any failure to hold above this zone, the expectation would be for a retest back at the center of that level. That's going to be 1227.70 with a shot to see a rotation across the range. So right now, early on, if prices cannot hold above 1264, look for a pushback toward 1233 to 1277 early in the week. Obviously, any pushes back down in this zone has been an opportunity to buy for another shot at strength, so just watch out for any short squeeze that could ensue. Anything above 1264s could lead to another attempt higher. All right, taking a look at the NQ. Here's the NQ in a daily time frame. This one has pushed into the 43.55 key level. That's a big time LVN here in the composite profile. You can also see how it's been rejected time and time again in the price chart. Price went offered through it, and here defended time and time again. We came back to it, and now kind of like a magnet here, prices have been repelled, attracted to it first, and then kind of repelled here, almost like a polar opposite. So that's going to be very important here. The previous week's high, 43.55. That's an important zone here. We could see price auction back a little bit into 4,300 and then an attempt to squeeze through it. Right now we have the primary bull target on the week at 45.03. As we see new lows hit for the week, we'll see this one drop just a little bit as well. Once we find any potential low for the week, we can target that primary upside target. Of course, if we push through 43.55, we have 44.12 and 45.23 is the next upside key levels to reach. Any rejection of these zones opens up a potential reversal all the way across the range into the midpoint at 40.76. So this is going to be important to see how this thing shakes out early on this week. Taking a look at the NQ on the intraday time frame, the early level here, the previous close being offered 43.45, and if there's any failure to see acceptance above that zone, the expectation could be a rotation back to 5-day value. That's 42.70 half. So right now, watch to see how price plays out on this pullback. The first zone to buy could be 4,300 to 43.09. A push into that area could be defended for a continuation. Otherwise, failure to hold that zone opens up a continuation into 42.70 half. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the new week of trading. Good luck and trade well.